How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to New Mexico State Men's Basketball News. I'm Marshall, and today we're going to have the Aggies have started the season off 3-0 for the first time since the 2021 to 22 season. And that year, obviously, we won an NCAA tournament game against UConn. Still the last team to beat UConn. Actually, pretty funny. Coach Hooten the day before the game against Texas A&M Corpus Christi on Thursday. So on Wednesday, he went to Corporate Center on campus. So if you go to school at New Mexico State, you know where that's at. And which is some telling things about the game. And then one of the questions he asked was, who's the last team to beat UConn? And everyone knew it was NMSU. So super dope. I'm not saying we're going to make the tournament this year, but I mean, hey, start off 3-0 just like we did then. So we're talking about how the Aggies got it done, how they nearly blew a 21-point lead, which really frustrated me, but a win's a win. Let's get straight into the video. First things first, let's talk about the starters, just like we always do. It was the exact same starting five as last game. I was telling my friends, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if that's the same starting five we go with. I feel like Zadi and Christian have solidified them to be, a great backcourt for us. I wouldn't mind Deontay starting. He's definitely a starting caliber player. Started the past couple years at Cal State Northridge. But I just feel like, him coming off the bench, giving us an extra boost scoring-wise and just, be a great floor general, great for the second unit, would be huge. I think he's better than Carl, but I think Carl starting at the 3 makes more sense. He's a little bit taller. Having 3 dudes, 6'2" or shorter in the starting lineup, definitely not the way to go. It's not like the NBA where, you got to be at, still big guys for sure, but you can kind of play a little bit smaller in college at times. But I feel like Carl starting at the 3 is huge. He had his best game. He had 11 points. And Deontay actually led the team in scoring off the bench, so he played really great at home. Team overall just plays better at home in general. I will say this, though. The lead that we nearly blew, I think we would have blown on the road. I think the team last year would have lost that game regardless if it was at home or away, even though it was good of a home team. Hopefully as the season goes on and we're in a similar situation like that against any team, whether it's on the road or at home, and right by that much, hopefully we just don't fumble like we almost did last game. The other 2 starters were obviously Robert Carpenter and Emmanuel Shimanga. I think Emmanuel's definitely going to be the guy when it comes to our, starting center. I still think that Edward and his brother, Emmanuel's brother Nate, are going to be super great off the bench. Nate's definitely our best rebounder, I would say. I feel like he's always in the team in rebounds, or at least close. Emmanuel had 10 rebounds last game. And then Edward has his best game this season. I think he had 7 points, 3 rebounds. Most of his points, I think, were from the free, maybe all of them were from the free throw line. I can't remember. He shot really great from the free throw line. Only missed 1. I believe he shot 7 for 8. The free throws look better overall for the Aggies. They shot about a little over 70%, about 72% from the line, which is a lot better than what they were shooting in the past. I believe the last game before that they shot about 50%. Game before that was maybe 60%. So glad they're shooting more in the 70s. If they can continue to do that, that's going to be huge. But if they would have made more of their free throws that they missed last game, I think they missed 10, could have won the game by double digits, which we should have done regardless because, like I said, up by 21 with about 15 minutes to go. It's kind of reversed from last year. I said that this game was going to be kind of similar to the Western Kentucky game, and it actually kind of was in the point that leads were blown. Because we did blow a lead, we just didn't lose it, thankfully. But like I said, last year's team probably would have lost it, so that's an improvement. Going back to Carl, he had his first 3 and his first midi. A lot of his points were in the paint or free throws, but he was able to, showcase his other skills. I'm also not too sure. When I was in the student section, there was these girls next to me, because they kept saying, go Carl. And they're like, I don't know if they're making fun of his name or what. They're like, oh, Carl, like, making, but, he was getting buckets. He had a great game. Like I said, I think it was his first double-digit scoring game of his college career so far. He's only his second year. Robert had his first double-double of the entirety of his college career, which I was kind of surprised about. I feel like he had more. 10 points, 10 rebounds, really great for him. Christian Cook was a little off, but he still had 12 points. So, he was going to be off and have 12 points. We'll take that. Robert was a little quiet, too. Still had 10 points and 10 rebounds. If we're going to have our guys be quiet and one of them gets a double-double and the other one still scores 12 points, which is more than his average last year, we'll take it. And Cook wasn't really even super off. He just wasn't making shots as consistent as he does. I'm not sure what his percentage was, but, the first 2 games, he was balling out. It was he couldn't miss. Last game, he was definitely missing. Missed a clutch free throw, but he also had some clutch shots. Made the free throw to get us up by 3, and then Texas A&M Corpus Christi shot 3 at the end to try to tie it. Missed, but they got a rebound, put it back up over Peter. Didn't matter anyway. We still had to win by 1. Speaking of Peter, he looked a little bit better, had 7 points. I believe he had 4 or 5 rebounds. He had a nice pass at the end to Deontay to get a slam dunk to pretty much seal the game, seal the victory for us. The more minutes he gets, he might even move over to the starting lineup. We never know. He's going to be a great player for us. Him kind of similar to Deontay, where, Deontay averaged 15 and 4 last year at Cal State Northridge. And then Peter averaged 14 and I think it was 7 at Maine. Those were they were the main players for their team, the top guys. And so now they're learning to play with other guys that are just as skilled, if not better. And so they kind of got to, get into that range a little bit. But having both those guys come on the bench, that's huge. We have a great starting 5, I believe. We have those 2 guys leading the bench with Gabe being a young freshman who has a bright future for us. And then Jaden, who's a returner, he's going to be great for us. He had about 5 points. He did what he had to do to help us get the win. I'm super stoked about how this season could possibly go. I'm really glad we won. I'm glad we're 3-0 because we have some tough opponents coming up. Playing against Dayton and UNLV on the road. I believe we play Dayton on Wednesday the 20th and then UNLV on the 23rd on the road. Both those teams are favored to beat us. I believe we can get at least one of them. I'm not sure we can get both. That would be awesome. They definitely have potential to, a better chance than last year's team would. But I think they can definitely get one. And I'm going to go on a rampage and say they're going to get one. I just don't know which one it's going to be. I believe Dayton's the better team, so I would assume we beat UNLV, lose to Dayton. I'm just hoping we can be close. Hope those games just get us better. We also play against teams like Texas and then UNM, the rival game. I'm just hoping those teams help us get better for Conference USA opponents, because all those 4 teams I just named are definitely going to be better than all the Conference USA teams that we face. Speaking of tough scheduling too, we play against Sam Houston and La Tech to start off conference. Luckily we have them at home, but we have probably arguably the 2 greatest teams in Conference USA to start conference play. Again, hope good thing we're at home, so we can probably at least get one, maybe both, since we're a way better home team than we on the road. Even though we won the road our first game, I still believe we're going to be more of a home team, especially with all the road teams we play. A lot of them are supposed to be favored to beat us, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get some upset wins. I think this team's really deep, really skilled. And they're not perfect. They're not going to be playing their best brand of basketball until, January, February, March, conference play, tournament play. So again, a lead like that we had against Texas A&M Corpus Christi, I believe in a couple months that if we have a 21-point lead against anybody in our conference, or just anybody in general, we'll keep the lead and at least win by double digits at the end of the day. Gabe got in. You can just tell he's going to be a really great player. That's what Coach Hugh was saying in his post-game conference. I had a couple, mistakes and turnovers here and there, but had a nice layup at the rim. Deontay was getting the rim at ease. I think a lot of guys were getting the rim. I feel like, Texas A&M Corpus Christi, they're not a bad team at all. They're really good. 3 straight 20-plus winning seasons, multiple NCAA tournament appearances. A 23-win season a couple years ago, and made the NCAA tournament, lost to the #1 seed. Last year got 21 wins. I think before that, 20 wins. And it was like the COVID year, but they're always a good team. I remember I used to live in Corpus Christi. They're always a good team. They have a really nice campus, by the way. It's like right on the water. Super nice. Maybe if I would have still lived there, I would have went to school there, but obviously I'm not. I actually have a signed basketball from them, like a really small one. I don't know what happened to it. Probably got lost somewhere. I had a signed basketball from them. Their jerseys were pretty ugly, though, because they've had decent jerseys in the past. Their jerseys were ugly, I'll tell you that. I was talking crap to them about that. I was like, bro, y'all jerseys are bad. Like, no shooting free throws, just talking crap. And surprisingly, they were actually missing their free throws a little bit more than us, I think. It's been taking advantage of that, which we did for the most part. And apparently right now we're actually 5th in the nation in rebounds. I think we're averaging like 50 rebounds a game, which is really good. But I think we're still giving up too much. But, hey, Texas A&M Corpus Christi, you'll take a win against them any day, even if we almost blew the lead. It would have been nice to beat them by 20-plus because UNM beat them by 19, so we could have said, hey, we beat them by more. We were on pace to probably score like almost 100 points also because we had 48 in the first half. Again, I'm going to go to rampage and say we get at least one 100-point game this season, and it'll probably come against, like University of Southwest or Northern New Mexico. I feel like we could be a team that averages scoring in the 80s. Scoring and rebounding, definitely improved from last year. Just really great overall. And really excited to see how they continue to improve and get better. Also, a side note, shout out to our women's team. They're 2-1. They lost to a really good UTSA team on Thursday. If they would have won, they would have been 3-0 also, and that would have been the first time that both teams are 3-0 since the 1993-94 season. But they're looking a lot better too. The women's team's looking great, so I definitely give you guys some updates on them as well as our men's team, obviously, because that's what the channel's about. They play against the women's. They play against Western New Mexico on Wednesday, which is when we face Dayton. So I'll probably go to the women's game and try to watch some of the Dayton game as well for the men's. But our women's team should take care of business against Western New Mexico. Remember last year, their women's team, Western, they started off like 6-2, but we destroyed them. And then after that game, they only finished like 9-18, I think. They're not off to the greatest start this year either. I think they're 0-3. They lost like an NAIA school, Northern New Mexico. So anybody can beat anybody on a given night. Like you saw, like the NAIA school beat the D2 school. But, D2s could be D1. It's happened before. So the girls just got to go in there and work hard and make sure they don't go into the game thinking they're going to have an automatic win and just get the win. And more Aggie stuff. Our volleyball team won today. It's Saturday. I know I'm making this video a couple of days late from the Thursday game. I've been kind of busy, but finally getting it up now. And our football team plays against Texas A&M, who's ranked. So probably not going to go the greatest, but I'm going to watch it. Obviously, you're going to root for us. We'll see how it goes. Also, a special shout out to Marvin Cox. Today is his birthday. I posted it on my Instagram account. Then a couple, 10 minutes after that, the official account posted it. So that was awesome. I'm not sure how old he's turning. I think he's probably turning he's a freshman. I'm assuming he's turning 19, if I had to guess. So, shout out to him. I think he might be redshirting. I'm not too sure because of the games. I'm sure you noticed him. He's just been in a jacket, more street clothes and stuff. So I'm not sure if he's redshirting for sure. He's a guy that, came in last second, so I wasn't expecting him to get big minutes anyway. But hopefully he can stick with the program, stick with the role, and be a big player for us in the future. Speaking of the future, Jacoby Osborne, he'll have been in that first game, but I expect to see him more games, possibly playing against those non-D1 opponents, or if there's games that are blown out, like maybe he could have possibly gotten in the game along with the other guys that don't play on Thursday who would have took care of business, but they didn't. They took care of business with the win, but didn't keep the lead up. Could have got, see him play, but, even the little time he played, even though it was against a Division II opponent that first game, he looked well, looked, solid, just a little bit of time he was playing, so hopefully he's great for our future too, and like I said, we have a lot of great guys coming in. Some good incoming freshmen for next year's team, Augustine Ekwe, and then Omar Smith. I'm sure we got more guys coming in too. Really excited for the future of this team. I've been saying the past couple videos. Really excited for this team and their season. But just like every year, there's gonna be guys that leave, there's gonna be guys that stay. So it's just good to keep on renewing those guys, Can't wait for next year as well. But obviously, got to focus on the goal at hand right now. And that's just, continue to improve the team. First year I was here, team had 9 wins last year, 13 wins this year. Expecting to get a little bit more following year, hopefully a little bit more than that. If they can just improve every year I'm here, that'd be great. Get back to where they're used to, get back used to making the tournament consistently, just winning a lot of games, having multiple 20-plus win seasons, which, again, this team has the potential to get 20 wins, but, again, still super, super early. I would, that Texas A&M Corpus Christi, definitely our best win, our best quality win. That first half we had against them was definitely the first half we played of the year so far, I would say. The second half was probably the worst half we played of the year so far, though. So if we can just play like we did in that first half throughout the season, because Texas A&M Corpus Christi, probably one of the better teams. They're like always one of the better teams in the Southland Conference, and they're probably better than the Conference USA teams. Obviously, we play against some teams that are better than them, but so far they're the best team we played, and we got the win against them. A great win. You'll take that any day of the week. A big quality win and a big road win last week. Like I said, our team last year had a hard time winning road games, so the fact that they got done in the first game is awesome. And then Texas A&M Corpus Christi being a great team, being able to beat them is great. I know I'm talking about last year's team a lot. I'm not trying to dog on them. I really appreciate them for what they did. That team was probably the most loved team ever, and that'll probably be the most loved team in Aggie basketball history just because of how all those guys committed to play. But the coaches that said it, that was just a brand new team. It was hard to build a system. Chemistry was off, and the chemistry's still off with this team too, but it's getting better each and every day. This team last year also wasn't as deep as this year's team is. So we'll see how it all goes. Also want to give a special shout out to former Aggie Keelan Dorsey. Obviously he's a really good friend of mine. Still is, and I still talk to him here and there. I think he's doing good, and I believe, like I said, he's playing junior college basketball in Texas. Actually, got a text from someone who's a fan of the channel and the Instagram, Twitter accounts, asking if he would come back, and I would love for him to come back. I doubt he will, though. And he's trying to work his way back up to a Division I school. Who knows? Maybe coaching will give him a chance, and he'll come here and do good things for us. Overall, I think it's gonna do for the video. Nothing really else to say. Shout out to the shirt, New Mexico State. Always love when I'm wearing the Aggie gear in here. Again, need a haircut really bad. My mom commented on one of the last videos saying I needed a haircut, which I do. I didn't take any videos or highlights of the game. I was just so focused because of the game and how close it was. But I did post a video about the hype video we have about the guys warming up. So if you haven't checked that video out, go check it out. It's already on my channel. Today's Saturday. I'll probably get this video up tomorrow on Sunday, so I know it's a little bit later than usual. But just glad I'm able to get it up. And then there'll be another video this week, it's Sunday, starting a new week, about the Dayton game. So we'll see how the game goes. Maybe I'll make a preview video on it, probably not, but we'll see. We'll see what my mind comes up with. It's the last week before Thanksgiving break, so we're kind of busy getting work in. And this time of the year, the semester, it is crazy how fast the semester is going. It's just flying by. Really excited for next semester, though, because the classes I'm taking are going to mainly just be journalism classes. I finally got most of my outside courses done with. I still need to take 3 classes outside of journalism, but they're classes I can pick. It doesn't need to be a specific one. So I'm just going to pick classes. I'll probably do a marketing class, like a sports marketing class or something. Or just pick any class that I actually enjoy doing, not like a science class. I've always stuck to science. Like, come on, man. That's going to do it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm out.